The shocking and dramatic life of Roelly Winklaar. In a world full of ordinary lives, one man's story emerged with the power to shock and baffle the masses. His name, Roelly Winklaar. But don't be fooled by his somewhat mundane-sounding name. Roelly's life was anything but average, weaving through the bizarre and uncanny with a speed that left everyone in disbelief. At first glance, Roelly Winklaar seemed like your typical middle-aged man. He wore the same tired suit every day. His face, a blank canvas, devoid of emotion or expression. But beneath the surface of his average existence, something far more extraordinary simmered. No one had the slightest inkling that Roelly, the quiet man who never said much, had been living a double life. A life that would come to a terrifying and dramatic climax. It all began with the disappearance of his closest friend, Gregory Sloan. The pair had known each other since childhood, growing up in the small, sleepy town of Riverton. They were inseparable, or at least it seemed. But one fateful evening, Gregory vanished without a trace. There were no signs of foul play. No ransom note, just nothing. And Roelly, well, he was visibly shaken, though he never quite allowed anyone to dig deeper into his emotions. His alibi was solid, his demeanor calm, but even the most casual observer couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Months passed. The investigation into Gregory's disappearance grew cold. But then came the bombshell that no one expected. During a routine police raid on an abandoned house on the outskirts of town, a chilling discovery was made. A room that looked like it belonged to a madman, with dark symbols scribbled across the walls in what appeared to be blood. In the center of the room, the body of Gregory Sloan was found, lifeless, yet oddly preserved, as though time itself had been suspended around him. And there, standing in the shadows, was Roelly Winklaar. The police were dumbfounded. How could this man, who seemed to have been in mourning over his friend's disappearance, have been involved in such an unspeakable crime? The details were too horrific to comprehend. The investigation revealed that Roelly had been living a secret life in a world of mysticism and dark rituals. But what they didn't know, what no one could have possibly guessed, was that Roelly had been practicing forbidden occult sciences for years, building up his power in a way that made him almost godlike. What happened next was nothing short of a cinematic twist. As authorities closed in on him, Roelly confessed, but not in the way they expected. His confession wasn't full of guilt or remorse. Instead, he spoke in cryptic, almost theatrical tones, as though he were delivering lines from a script. He told them that Gregory had been the key to unlocking a forbidden door. A door to a parallel dimension, one that would allow Roelly to transcend mortality and take control of all existence. And then the unthinkable happened. As Roelly stood there, a flicker of something supernatural passed through his eyes, and in an instant, he vanished. No, he didn't escape. He was gone, completely. His body evaporated into thin air, leaving behind nothing but the faintest trace of his presence. A burning smell that lingered in the air. The world was stunned. News outlets scrambled to cover the bizarre turn of events. There was no explanation for Roelly's disappearance, and there were whispers of the occult practices that had once been considered nothing more than myth and superstition. Some believed that Roelly had achieved the impossible, crossing over into another realm where rules of reality no longer applied. Months went by, and the case seemed to fall into obscurity. Yet inexplicably, the town of Riverton was never quite the same.
like share and subscribe fitness motivation.